Hey guys, welcome to another session of Lab. In this one, we're going to be talking about common mistakes that are made by creative individuals. I thought you were going to say something. So
I was, but then you were too.
Hey guys, welcome to another session of Lab. In this session, we're going to be talking about common mistakes that are made by creative individuals. Alan and I have both amassed a nice list of these mistakes ourselves. But we've also seen other people crash and burn because of certain things that happened on set or in post-production. So we'd like to share those experiences with you and kind of enlighten you to kind of some of the snafus that you can experience out there.
Yeah, and I have no idea what Luke's talking about because I never make mistakes.
He's perfect.
I am.
Absolutely.
This is a good topic to kind of conclude our set of 3 discussions, because the type of creative that you are and how well you prepare for your shoot mentally and in equipment really will kind of create your list of common mistakes. And we both have, I think, the common mistakes that we make, and they're not going to be all inclusive. But we will talk about how you can avoid those, and we'll share some of our embarrassing stories just so you guys don't feel nearly as bad.
Definitely. I don't care how long you've been working in this industry or if you're just starting out, the likelihood that you will make some of these mistakes, it remains the same. And preparation is really the key to heading off some of these things and making sure that they don't happen. But there is no absolute. You're always vulnerable and always subject to this.
In fact, this may be the second time we've recorded this.
It could be the second time we've recorded this entire series of lab modules.
And it wasn't my fault.
Oh, not at all.
Mostly.
No, mostly. Well, there's this thing called the test record that you should normally do, play back before, you actually engage in doing the rest
We're
of your
hypocrites
stuff.
is what we're saying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we totally blew it. I'll start out with one of my most common mistakes that I will make. I have a problem with SD cards. Remembering them to begin with in my gear, whether that's a camera or more commonly with me, an audio recorder. I can't tell you how many times I've opened up the door on my recorder and seen the empty slot and go, oh my gosh, that's still at home. It's still in the back of the computer. Oh, how could I be so stupid? And it was because I didn't properly prepare. I thought, I got this all together. Everything will be fine. Taking that time to go over things multiple times and not assuming that your bag that you normally store your stuff in has everything that it's going to, that is necessary for you to do what you need to do. You need to physically see everything. You need to physically test everything before you go out there and shoot. I can't tell you how important that is and how many times I've gone, oh, I'm so glad I know where this is now and I can put it in. So think about that.
A common mistake that I made early on was putting too much trust in the equipment that I had, and thinking that if I could buy the best whatever, that I was going to be then a good, trusted video producer. The mistake that I see a lot of beginning video producers making, because it's the mistake that I made, is putting so much focus on the camera that you buy and neglecting to realize that there are other, sometimes more important things you could be investing your money into, mostly like lights and audio. Camera technology changes. Putting trust in technology, it's going to fail you at this current technology rate every 6 months because the newest, most better thing is going to be coming out. So do not focus so much on the technology making you a good producer. I say this in my classes, you guys have probably heard me say it. It drives me nuts when people see the things that I create and say, wow, that was a cool video. You must have a really nice camera. To which I say, yeah, that's a great drawing you did. You must have a really nice pencil. The technology you have is a tool, but you are the instrument that actually creates the creative outcome. And the quicker you guys can release that anxiety of, oh, but they have a red, oh, they have the 12K Blackmagic. You don't need a 12K Blackmagic. The sooner you can let that go and just realize, I have a phone that does 4K. I have a phone that does high speed slow motion. Great, use it. use it and push that to its max before going and investing in something else. I think one of the biggest mistakes is buying gear before you have paying clients that you can actually use to pay that off.
Yeah, definitely. I love the phone example because I have, don't tell my director producer this, but there is a significant portion of some of the sound effects that I have created, some of the sound design work that I have done that has won me national awards, that I have recorded with an 8S, a 5S, just, regular mobile phones. And I've gotten good enough recordings because of the way I set it up, the proximity to the source, and the way I approached it. Like Alan was saying, I was the instrument that was causing the technology to perform in a way that maybe it wasn't even designed to, because I could adapt it that way. I could push it to that limit. And I didn't need to spend $1,000 on this incredible Sennheiser microphone to do it. I could do it with a phone. All right, and we want you guys
cut to the phone. Brought to you by Apple.
Definitely. So understand that the equipment doesn't make you. All right, you make you, and you need to, when you're thinking about your gear set, think about your purpose and think about what it is that you need to accomplish and what could best do that for the money, as opposed to you got to have the best thing and that makes you the best. That is definitely not it.
Another common mistake that I make regularly, and this kind of ties into my personality, is that I'm a people pleaser. And so when I'm on set, if someone walks in and I can tell that the last place they want to be is here, and the last thing they want to do is be interviewed, and they're looking at their watch and they're rolling their eyes when there's a delay, I have a tendency when I'm recording to just kind of say, well, that's good enough, let's move on. Because I hate making people do things they don't want to do. And that is something that I've really had to wrestle with as a common mistake. Because ultimately, what am I responsible for? What am I being paid for? Being paid for the quality of product that I'm producing. And if I'm just saying that's good enough because I'm intimidated by this person, I'm not getting the quality outcome that I'm being paid for. So I've really had to work with the two realms of making sure that the person you're working with is comfortable and that you are being efficient in how many takes you're doing, but also being willing to say, hey, we have to do that again, regardless of how they feel, to make sure you do get that quality output. Because if you do a take and you knew something was wrong, it's shame on you for saying it was good enough. It will come back to bite you.
It definitely will, and there's nothing worse than being in a review session near the end when product delivery is imminent. You have a deadline that you need to meet, and coming face to face with that mistake that you let go and having no way around it, and having to try and force your producer, director, your client to accept that because there's nothing else you can do. Maybe there's no more time, there's no more money in the budget, and if you just would have taken care of it that day, it would have been fine.
And there's no good explanation for that, because if they say, did you not see that? Yes, I saw it. Yeah. Then why didn't you do something about it? No, I didn't see it. How could you not see that? Right? There's no good way out of that conversation.
Definitely not. Yeah, it all falls on you. And at the time, you need to take responsibility for that. And maybe, it's an embarrassing mistake, but it's far more embarrassing to let that go and let that build on itself through the rest of the process. So own it. Just, admit to it and rectify it there at that time. That's going to serve you and the client and the future of your career far better.
Yeah, and that's really important, because we started this by saying you're going to make mistakes. And some of those mistakes will haunt you. And I'm about to share a story here in a second. But you have to be able to move on from that, not forget about it, even though you want to. But you need to recall that in that moment during the next shoot and be like, ooh, whew, I made this mistake last time. I'm not going to do that again. And the fact that you've not only forgiven yourself for making it, but have expressed to other people around you that you made that mistake, is going to make you a more credible producer and a more relatable producer. People want to work with people that aren't perfect. There's nothing worse than the guy that walks on set thinking he's got everything together and he doesn't make mistakes. We all do. When I was working at a a motorsports company down in San Diego. The owner of the entire company, the guy that actually brought the sport of motocross to America, was coming in for an interview. It was the company's 50th anniversary. Big deal. My boss, his boss, and the owner were all coming into this interview. I spent like 2 days getting the shot all set up. We had his original trophy bike, it was beautiful. He comes in and he's wearing a white polo shirt tucked into his jeans. So now I, as the lone video producer on the team, have to mic him up. So all eyes are on me, and I say, Mr. Hallman, would you mind kind of running this up your polo? He says, no, it's already tucked in. So I kind of look around, my boss is looking at me with kind of wide eyes, like don't make him do something he doesn't want to. But I realize that if I don't make him do this, there's gonna be a black mic cable traversing his white polo shirt for the entirety of his interview. And that's what happened. And to this day, I look at that and it's one of my favorite interviews, visually and content-wise, that I've ever done. But I can't show it because this black mic cable is running down the white polo shirt and it pains me. It pains me. Yeah, it does.
Definitely. It's one thing to make your client feel comfortable, and you should do that. And having your equipment set up, everything ready to go, so that the talent or the client can walk into the situation, just sit down and go, is important. But at the same time, no matter how important they are or how pressed for time they are or how exasperated they are with being there, you have to take those measures to ensure the ultimate quality. I feel for you. I've been in the same type of situation many times. I worked in a studio situation where one of the primary things I was doing was audio and miking people up constantly. And we did a lot of interview programs, and people would come in all different configurations of clothing. And I had to get really good at telling them, okay, I'm gonna need to change this a little bit. We're gonna have to put a little tape here. We're gonna have to, hide this in this certain way. I'm gonna have to paw at you a little bit here, just so that you look better in the end. I'm trying to help you, come across in the best way possible. And if you can kind of flip it to them and make it so that you're working for them for their better good, a lot of people will see that. And it does take a little bit of, assertion. And that's necessary. Confidence is great, absolutely. And it's necessary in a professional situation many times.
And it builds over time.
And things don't, absolutely. You gain that confidence. And there are common things that happen all the time, and the miking situation is one of them. Absolutely. So it's never going to go away. So learning how to deal with it the best you can, and gaining confidence from successfully doing it over and over and over again is really going to benefit you in the long run.
My motto will always be, it's as awkward as you make it. And so in any mistake, where I've done entire interviews and I didn't turn the microphone on, right? It's as awkward as you make it. If you sit there and you break down, and you're like, oh no, I didn't do that, I'm so sorry. And now they're uncomfortable, and now they realize they have to do it all over again. That creates a bad situation. But if you realize your mistake, maintain your composure, and say, hey, you're more comfortable now, let's just do that all for safety. Click, turn the microphone on and do it again. That creates an environment that isn't awkward, that gives them a sense of, oh, okay, yeah, I can do this again, right? Or when miking somebody up, it's as awkward as you make it.
Definitely.
You have a job to do. And they know that. They're there because they know that you have a job to do. And so don't sit there and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, can I? Just go up and walk them through the process, talk them through it.
Your confidence kind of envelops them. You kind of energetically set them at ease. And they know that they're being handled by someone who is a professional, who's paid to do this, does it day in and day out, and they know that they're in good hands. And if you can communicate that, not even with words, but with your body language and how you approach a situation, the confidence that you exude, that's what's going to not only set that client at ease, but show everybody else on set the moxie that you have and the ability that you have to deal with the situation in a highly professional manner.
We are primarily in a people business. We are.
Yeah, definitely.
And A very common mistake is to think that this is an introverted sport. I mean, I don't know about you, I'm an introvert. I almost have a functioning introvert. I much enjoy being at home, but I enjoy being around people, but it drains me. But this is a people industry. You're working with people, client, teammate, whatever it is. And you have to be approachable. You have to be confident, but not off-putting. You have to trust yourself, but not in an arrogant way. Yeah. And there's a really fine line between those things that I think YouTube, unfortunately, is filled with these arrogant producers who think just because they have X, Y, and Z equipment that they're worthy of millions of views. And unfortunately, they get them. But it's creating this misconception in starting producers that they have to do this when that really doesn't translate to a success in the industry.
No, it's not going to get you very far. You can sit there and beat your own drum and tout yourself as being the most awesome and have that kind of arrogant attitude, and that will resonate with some people, but it's not going to get you very far truly in the industry, especially when it comes to working with others and establishing and maintaining a client base. If you have that attitude like you're better than everybody, it's off-putting and people are not going to want to work with you.
Regardless of how good your content is.
Absolutely, and what equipment you have. It only goes so far. So developing those interpersonal skills and learning the dynamics involved in working with people, whether they're paying you or you're paying them, it's a very important aspect of being a true professional.
And the last mistake that I want to cover that kind of goes along with that is thinking that you have to talk yourself up. You should let your work talk yourself up. And that is really hard to do because, again, it goes back to that creative ego that I mentioned in the other sessions. But if you're producing quality work, people are going to see that and they're going to want to hire you based on your work. You don't have to get in there and be like, what did you know? 2 years ago, I was on the set with so-and-so, and it was really cool. And I did this and I did that. And that doesn't translate to good work. Because I found there's a lot of people who can talk up here, and then I watch their work and I'm like,
yeah,
that wasn't what I was expecting based on how you were talking. Your work does a lot of talking for you.
And the bragging about stuff you've done and who you know and who you've worked with and all that kind of stuff, quite often that comes across as insecure and desperate. Because you don't have the work to back it up. It's so often people that do things like that. I have been fortunate enough to work with a very talented team of people. We've accomplished a lot. We've won many national awards, and I will talk about that.
Emmys. Luke has won Emmys.
I will talk about that with my students, but not from the perspective that you should believe me because I have done this. Really, where I'm coming at this from is I make mistakes. I'm a real person. I worry about things, and I just do my very best. And I want to share everything that I have learned with you because you can do what I have done and better. I believe in your ability to do this. If I have done this, you certainly can. So there's a difference in talking about what you've done to sort of convince people that you're awesome as opposed to inspire people to achieve.
So as you guys start to get involved in the discussion and you start to think through the different lab topics that we've covered so far, think through common mistakes that you've either made or that you'd be terrified to make, or maybe you've never made a video before and you have no idea necessarily how to relate to what we're talking about. But let's discuss what it means to do this job and to do it well, and what it means to you guys to do this well. Maybe you guys are wanting to buy a brand new camera, but we've given you pause now on thinking about that. Tell us that in the discussion. And let's really start to think through the common mistakes that we all make, Luke and I included.
Yeah, and we'd like to see you guys interact with each other about this. Share, insecurities that you have, experiences that you have had, things that you have questions about. We'd like to know how you guys kind of relate with each other about this. It's one thing to talk to your instructors about it and to talk to people that have been, in the industry for any number of years. but to work with people and to sort of meet people and engage them who are just getting started in this or have very little experience, you're going to hear different things. And that's kind of what we're interested in getting from you.
Because that can be really encouraging to hear from other people. So thanks for joining us in this lab. Go forward and make mistakes.